Good afternoon. Welcome to the UIC College of Pharmacy commencement ceremony. At this time, I would like to request that the platform party, faculty, and graduates please come forward. Graduates, please remain standing. Others, please stand as you are able. Dr. Deborah Agard, Assistant Dean, will lead us in the singing of the National Anthem.
Please join me in singing the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the land of the brave?
Graduates and guests, please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Tom Tenhove, better known as Dr. T to the students. I'm the Associate Dean for Student Affairs in the College of Pharmacy, often referred to as the Dean of Students in the college. It's a great honor for me to stand before you and serve as this afternoon's MC for this ceremony. We're celebrating a very significant milestone in the lives of our graduates and actually in the life of the College of Pharmacy as well. The class of 2014 is the first graduating class from the University of Illinois at Chicago College of Pharmacy to include Doctor of Pharmacy students from the Chicago campus and Rockford campus. In consideration for the graduates and others around you, please silence all cell phones or any other devices that might make noise during the ceremony. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the Dean of the College of Pharmacy and Interim Vice President for Health Affairs, Dr. Jerry Bauman. Dean Bauman.
Thank you, Thank you, Dr. Tenhove. I wanted to ask the students, what do you think about the hat? Well, that was a quick 4 years. And I want to be the very first to congratulate you on a job well done. I know it was difficult at times, but I'm sure it went really quick. And now it's over. Now, I know that you didn't do it alone. And what I'd like you to do, I'd like the people in the back, the parents, the grandparents, the loved ones, you don't need to stand, but raise your hands or something. And I'd like the graduates to stand and face them and give them a great hand, because I have 3 college kids. I have 3 college kids, and I know that you did your very best to support these really talented students to become a pharmacist. So on behalf of the college, I also want to thank you in supporting them on this journey. First, I'd like to introduce the platform party, which I think is in the first row here. And I'd ask them to please stand up as I call their name. Steve Swanson. Steve is the Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Education. I'll also note that he will become the new Dean at the University of Wisconsin College of Pharmacy this summer. Next is Laura Junker, who's Associate Dean of the Graduate College. Marika Shane, who's Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and also Interim Vice Dean of the Chicago campus. Dr. Robert Easter is the president of the University of Illinois. And I think you met Dr. Tenhove, who could stand also as Associate Dean for Students. Ron Weinert, vice president for Accountable Care Services at Walgreens and also our commencement speaker. Jan Engel, who is the head of the Department of Pharmacy Practice and also executive associate dean of the college. Ed Cohen, who is director of the University of Illinois Alumni Association Board of Directors and chair of the UIC Campus Alumni Advisory Board, and also a member and past president of the College of Pharmacy Alumni Board. Dr. Dave Bartles, who's the vice dean at the Rockford Regional Campus. Dr. Nick Popovich, who's associate dean for professional development. And Dr. Clara Awe, who's Associate Dean for Diversity Affairs and Inclusion and Director of the Urban Health Program. Next, I'd like to introduce to you the faculty sitting behind me by department. First, the head of the Department of Medicinal Chemistry and Pharmacognosy, Dr. Judy Bolton. And would the members of that department attending today please rise? Second is the head of the Department of Pharmacy Systems, Outcomes, and Policy, Dr. Glenn Schumach. And would the members of that department please rise? The Department of Biopharmaceutical Sciences, the head is Dr. William Beck. And would the members of Biopharmaceutical Sciences please rise? And last, the Department of Pharmacy Practice, head, Dr. Janet Engel, and the members of the Department of Pharmacy Practice, please rise. Thank you. You can clap for them. College of Pharmacy is extremely proud to have Dr. Robert Easter, president of the University of Illinois, and actually my boss at the moment, participating in our commencement ceremony this afternoon. After spending his entire nearly 40-year career as senior administrator and faculty member on the Urbana-Champaign campus, Dr. Easter became the University of Illinois 19th president in July 2012. He joined the faculty after earning his doctorate from the Urbana-Champaign campus in 1976 and later served as department head and eventually dean of the nationally renowned College of Agriculture, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences, otherwise known as ACES. Dr. Easter then became interim provost, then interim chancellor, and as well, and interim vice chancellor for research for the Urbana campus before becoming president. So he served in many roles. An internationally renowned authority on swine nutrition, Dr. Easter has co-authored a book on swine production and has written more than 90 peer-reviewed papers, 11 book chapters, 4 monographs, and numerous papers for conferences and industry publications. He's also spoken to audiences throughout the United States and in more than 25 foreign countries. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the President of the University of Illinois, Dr. Robert Easter.
Thank you, Vice President Bauman, and thank you especially for stepping in to serve as in the interim role as Vice President for Health Affairs for this very important health science system at the University of Illinois. And it's my pleasure to bring greetings from our Board of Trustees and congratulations for your accomplishments this class of 2014. In her best-selling book, Harry Potter book series, J.K. Rowling writes that our choices show what we truly are, far more than the abilities that we may possess. And we're here to celebrate today a choice that you made a number of years ago that transformed the trajectory of your life and brought you here today. Your hard work, your commitment to knowledge and skill has brought you to a point of great success in one of the nation's premier programs, ranked in the top 10 over more than 130 nationally. We're very proud at the University of Illinois of our College of Pharmacy. What you've done is put you in a very select company. There are about 13,000 students nationally this year who will receive the degrees that you're receiving, and by comparison, more than 1.5 million people will receive undergraduate degrees. You are truly world-ready professionals, and we believe that you have the tools that are needed to flourish in your first job and the capacity to deal with a rapidly changing field that will no doubt look different 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now than it does today. But in some sense, what you've done here is a foundation. More choices lie ahead. Choices that will ultimately determine how far this education will take you. Steve Sample graduated from the University of Illinois, received his doctorate in engineering a good many years ago, and served almost for 20 years until recently as president of the University of Southern California. And just before he retired, he spoke to the commencement class there, and he spoke of 3 choices that all graduates have to deal with. And I thought his presentation brought forth some truly important decisions, and I just wanted to remind myself and you of them. First of all, what will you do with relationships? Will you choose a wife, a husband, a partner, or how will you share your life? What kinds of people do you want as friends? Will your relationships nurture your growth or, in some cases, drag you down? The next choice that Dr. Sample presented is, what will you do about money? Will it drive your career choices, or is it job satisfaction and contribution that will be more important to you? Can you manage your finances and live within your means, or will money be a challenge that weighs you down as you go through life? And finally, Dr. Sample said you have to come to grips with what you truly stand for. What's your grounding, spiritually, emotionally? What are the ideals that will guide your life? I was impressed by Steve Sample's remarks because over 40 years I've watched students graduate from the University of Illinois and go on, and then they come back as alums and talk about their success and some of their struggles. And often I've seen them struggle because of their inability to really come to grips with these choices. Choose wisely, as you did when you chose to continue your educational experience at this great university. And along the way, I hope you'll remember the words of former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, who said, quote, "In the long run, we shape our lives, and in the process, we shape ourselves. And that process never ends until the end of life. And the choices that we make are ultimately our responsibility." Enjoy today's celebration. Take a moment to savor what you've accomplished, to thank friends, family, and others who have contributed to your success. Take pride in your contributions. Take pride in being an alum of the University of Illinois. Come back to see us. Come back to visit with your mentors. Don't forget to leave your address. We'll want to ask you for money one of these days. But above all else, best wishes for success, whatever choice you make as you go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, President Easter. At each year's commencement ceremony, we like to recognize the valedictorian, the student in the graduating class with the highest grade point average. The practice of recognizing this person had its origin at Harvard University in 1759. This year we have 5 graduates who tied for the highest grade point average. They all achieved a perfect 4.0 in their PharmD coursework. So all A's. As your name is called, please stand and be recognized as this year's valedictorians. Kelly Burke, Patricia Hartke, Shivali Shah, Jilin Sun, and Xin Zhang. Just as we value and recognize academic excellence, we believe that service and leadership are important and should also be recognized. And when the parents get a sense of all the individuals that stand up on the next one, you'll get a sense of the engagement of these students in our college. If you've ever served as a class officer or in a leadership capacity while a student in the College of Pharmacy, please rise. Thank you. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce this year's graduation speaker, Ron Weinert. Ron has been a loyal alumnus and friend of the college for the last 30 years. He graduated from our college in 1983, a class that had its share of successful graduates. Ron began his career after graduation at Westlake Community Hospital, followed by a brief stint as assistant manager at Doc Drugs. From there, he steadily has risen through the ranks of Walgreens. He began as a pharmacist, as a staff pharmacist in 1987, and I think this is a good lesson for the students as I go through these appointments and promotions. Was appointed to pharmacy manager in 1988, then on to pharmacy supervisor. He then went on to Walgreens corporate headquarters, focusing on loss prevention. Over the years, it's difficult to keep up with his titles. He served Walgreens in the area of patient services, health system services, government relations, and also served as chief of staff to the CEO of Walgreens. He's currently vice president of Accountable Care Services, and it's also worth noting that Ron has been extremely helpful in securing a large grant recently from Walgreens to help renovate the compounding lab. And yes, to the students, we are going to renovate the compounding lab. And it's I should also note that Ron is an avid triathlon enthusiast and has completed an Ironman competition. It's my pleasure, Mr. Weinert.
Good afternoon. Can I get all the graduates to stand just for a moment here? So my goal today for this talk is to move and motivate you, and I hope at the end of my talk you feel like you want to stand again, but in case I fail, I was able to get you to stand now, so thank you very much. You'll see that I'm usually a pretty serious person. You'll see that in my speech here, so I thought I'd try a little humor to begin with. Go ahead, sit down. So good afternoon. Thank you, Dean Bauman, for your kind introduction. And thank you, President Easter, Associate Dean Tenhove, UIC faculty, staff, friends, and family. As an alum, let me also share a word of welcome, most importantly, to our soon-to-be new alumni, all our Chicago graduates, and the first graduating class from our Rockford campus. Please, a round of applause for the graduates. Thank you very much for asking me to share such a special day with you all. I'm truly honored, yet extremely humbled at the same time. You know, I've always liked the idea of commencement. First of all, it's such a great word. I like how it sounds, and I like what it says. Now, high on someone's list of things you might not want to start out talking about in a commencement address is the concept of beginnings. However, I'm going to be bold and state the obvious. A lot of people think of graduation as the end. End of school, probably for most of you. End of those carefree days of being a student. And end of being accountable mainly to yourself. That's a big one. You picked a profession where you need to be highly accountable to your patient. In fact, you should be putting the patient at the center of everything that you do. So that said, in my book, graduation is still a beginning, maybe even the first day of the rest of your life. As a pharmacist who's been through a few decades of work, I can say with complete authority that you are entering one of the most exciting, most diverse, and most opportunity-filled professions you can. If you thought you made a smart decision to be a pharmacist when you entered UIC as a freshman, by now, you should be thinking, what a genius idea that was. And a lot of people would agree. Of course, there are plenty of fields you might have chosen instead, but fascinating as they may be, but they may not offer the huge range of possibilities or opportunities as pharmacy. When I was your age, most of us graduating planned to be a dispensing pharmacist. Plain and simple, maybe in an independent pharmacy or a chain or even a hospital. That was back in 1983, 31 years ago, a long time by some calculations, but actually not really that long ago. But the fact of the matter is, having seen the leaps and bounds of the pharmacy profession and the pharmacy industry over those years, it sometimes seems like another lifetime to me. Things were pretty different. 30 years ago, most of today's most commonly dispensed drugs didn't even exist. 30 years ago, folks came into pharmacies and paid for their prescriptions in cash. Most of today's third-party payers and PBMs didn't exist either. 30 years ago, pharmacists pretty much concentrated on dispensing medications, an important role, for many, the only role. So fast forward to now. The reality is, pharmacy and healthcare have changed quite a bit since I was sitting where you are now. Pharmacists' roles and responsibilities are steadily increasing, and with them, the opportunity to have a mighty impact on health and healthcare in this country. In fact, there probably have been more changes in the pharmacy industry in just the past few years. It's one of those paradigm shifts you hear about. The best part about all of this, you have an amazing opportunity to continue to help shape the future of pharmacy. You have the opportunity to be part of this shift and live and expand the heightened role pharmacy now plays in healthcare. So what happened? What's the paradigm shift all about? You might boil it down to a simple matter of supply and demand. We pharmacists have clearly moved beyond our primary responsibility to safely and efficiently dispense medication. The fact is, we're emerging from more than a century of somewhat one-dimensional service. Let me tick down the list of what's been pushing our profession forward. And these are some pretty strong tailwinds. An aging population. Baby boomers are reaching age 65 at the rate of 10,000 per day in the United States. Chronic disease is more prevalent, but so is the ability to treat many of those conditions with medications. Some diseases, like diabetes, are absolutely mushrooming, making our profession more in demand than ever. At Walgreens, for example, an average patient living with diabetes visits our pharmacist 30 times a year. That's compared with 2 to 4 visits to a primary care physician. Healthcare reform. Now there's another huge catalyst. What does it call for? Affordable and accessible quality healthcare. Well, bingo. Affordable access to healthcare services is what community pharmacy is all about. The fact is, we live in an on-demand society. We've gotten used to that instant gratification mindset. We want what we want when we want it. But when it comes to healthcare, that often translates to we want what we need when we need it. That's why, as we see in many communities, the conveniently accessed drugstore has become the healthcare hub. Another paradigm shifter, the shortage of primary care physicians. And this is projected to only get worse over the next couple of years. Pharmacy is in a prime position to help fill that gap. From immunizations to health tests and screenings to medication management services, more and more healthcare consumers look to pharmacists and pharmacies. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. We're no longer just the gatekeeper of the product. We've become healthcare service providers, and the product, like we say at Walgreens, is no longer simply the meds you send home with your patient. It's an improved patient outcome. I'm thrilled that pharmacists are now being seen by other healthcare providers, payers, legislators, and administrators as a way to fill the primary care gap in this country. And I'm especially thrilled that patients are seeing their community pharmacy as the go-to place for many healthcare services. Back in the day, I doubt anyone thought they'd ever head over to the corner drugstore for an immunization. So what happens after you get your diploma today? You will officially become an instrumental member of the care team. And your role will be to help achieve the triple aim in this country through steadily expanding pharmacist services. 1, you can provide high-quality healthcare services that, 2, drive positive clinical outcomes, and 3, dispensing or helping to decrease the overall healthcare spend in the country and provide a high level of patient satisfaction. Now that's real power, and quite a spectacular way to practice at the top of your license. Whether you're practicing on the front lines, behind the counter, or behind the scenes, teaching, doing clinical research, or administering the business of pharmacy, talk about having an impact. Medication noncompliance costs the United States healthcare system in the neighborhood of $300 billion a year. Who's best positioned to step in and help adherence in a big way? Let's see a show of hands. You are, all of you. Now, in my humble opinion, one of the best things about being a pharmacist in today's world is that we now get to work in concert with other healthcare professionals to provide coordinated care. And we're doing that with aligned incentives. Case in point, the Affordable Care Act is built on a key tenet of value-based pay-for-performance reimbursement models versus a traditional fee-for-service model. Fee-for-service may drive volume, but the fact of the matter is value-based models drive positive outcomes and quality. And that's the product I talked about, improved patient outcomes. Because what are we working for if not the improvement of the patient's health? So that's really a great spot to be in, having the ability and the responsibility to drive appropriateness of therapy and even create the therapy plan through collaborative practice. And that's not all, folks. you also get to drive adherence to that therapy through education, counseling, and reducing cost barriers for your patients. Not only that, by using these services to close gaps in care, you can help physicians improve their quality metrics like HEDIS, like ACO, like STAR. And improved quality metrics mean even better financial reimbursement for physicians. Now that's an impressive role to play and drives aligned incentives. Really, you can do this no matter which direction you go in your pharmacy career. So maybe you plan to teach, or you're headed into research, or drugstore management, or residency. Maybe, like a huge percentage of all pharmacy graduates, you're going to practice in a community pharmacy. Just ask your family out there in the audience, did they ever think you'd be the one giving the flu shots, or providing diabetes education, or health screenings? How about medication therapy management, or going bedside at a hospital to review regimens with patients before discharge? What about developing clinical programs, or educating legislators on why pharmacists should be recognized as healthcare providers? Some of you one day may even become the CEO of a drugstore chain, like at Walgreens or at a pharmaceutical company. You just never know. Bottom line, you sure can wear a lot of hats. But no matter what direction you choose to be a leader in the industry and be a good driver. Help drive the paradigm shift by putting the patient at the center of everything that you do, like I said before. Use your skills and be proactive and always reach high to the highest level of your license. If you do that, everything else is going to fall into place. Now, like most commencement speakers, I feel obliged to dish out some unsolicited advice, which, as any parent in the room knows, is really the best kind. It's advice based on my own life's lessons that I hope can bring some value to you and help you get the most out of how you spend your time on and off the clock. Now, I could spend the next week dispensing advice, but I whittled down my list to 4 key points. So first up, I'll turn to my friend, William Shakespeare. He said, "To thine own self be true." So advice number 1, be who you are, not someone else's vision of you, and follow the path that's going in the direction you want to head, and don't be afraid of change. Embrace change. When I was at UIC, one of my professors had a big impact on me, the late Jesse Stewart, a great professor who really got me excited about the business of pharmacy. I had decided to go down the administrative path in my curriculum, so I got to take a lot of business courses, and that's where Jesse's influence came in. Later on, after several years of experience, first in hospital pharmacies and then in stores, when I found myself out in district management, I realized how much I really loved the business end of pharmacy. I had really enjoyed the patient interaction part of pharmacy, and I've always been a real people person, but the reality was I truly saw myself as a business administrator type. And that's what guided my career path and how I ended up doing what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So what was the tipping point, you may ask? At the end of the day, it was all the statistics and finances that got me really excited. Right there, I was probably in somewhat a unique position. I mean, seriously, who loves statistics? No hands. I'd be checking those stats all the time. How many scripts did we fill? How do I balance all the financial pieces that drive the operation? Well, let me move on to my second advisory. Welcome challenges. The famous poet T.S. Eliot said something great about challenges. He said, if you aren't in over your head, how do you know how tall you are? And to make challenges even more interesting, try looking at them this way. Challenges are the opportunities you never knew you had. Don't let anything get in your way. Figure out what you want to do and go get it done. So here's one of my favorite quotes, and it's not by a philosopher, it's not by a poet or an elected official, Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone. He said, "Life is hard, it can knock you down, but it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep on going. Don't stop. Don't let things get in your way." In retrospect, my own career at Walgreens seems to be a series of different pharmacy-related positions for which I was not a subject matter expert, but I had shown an interest in and ability for kind of being a Mr. Fix-It, taking something that either wasn't developed or was broken and needed fixing. In a way, that became my personal brand. And in any environment, brand building is really a big deal. Anyway, I ended up fixing up things in pretty diverse areas: field management, loss prevention, and e-commerce. Now, my econ stint happened before I even knew what a browser was. And what sometimes still amazes me is that I am named on 5 United States patents for work I did in e-com. After e-com, I was appointed to lead our specialty pharmacy business by Greg Wasson. A few years later, he was named president of Walgreens and then CEO. And oh, by the way, he's a pharmacist. From specialty pharmacy, I moved on to head up government relations, which led to Governor Quinn appointing me to the Illinois State Board of Pharmacy in 2010. And here I am now, leading our accountable care work across the country. It's been one continuous challenge after another, and let me tell you, each was more fun and stimulating than the one that came before. Maybe what helped me was the basic job requirements were the same for each of these jobs. Get up to speed, and get up to speed quickly, and don't let anything get in your way. I also learned early on what Charles, our Walgreens, said was 1,000% true. Surround yourself with people smarter than you, and you will be successful. Or as Woodrow Wilson once put it, I not only use all the brains that I have, but all the brains that I can borrow. So I encourage you to always embrace these challenges and maintain a relentless desire to accomplish and be successful. I guarantee you, when I sat in your seats 31 years ago, I had absolutely no advantages over anybody else. I just had passion and a keen sense and a big desire to accomplish. Third, keep the relationships you've made here. My best relationship was with a classmate who was the very first person I met the day before school started in the bookstore. George and I went on to become best friends and later co-workers at Walgreens. He actually turned out to be a fantastic mentor and role model for me. I'd watch how he'd interact with people and want to help, and I saw that was part of his success. I admired what I saw, and consciously or unconsciously, I began to emulate his style. So far, for your entire life, you've been told what? Don't copy. When you get out into business and you see somebody doing the right things, achieving the goals that you want to achieve, don't reinvent the wheel. It's okay to emulate folks out there. At some point in his career, George also wanted to be active at UIC and have a voice at the university. So he joined the Alumni Association and ultimately became president. And he's the one who kind of pulled me back and got me involved at UIC. Long story short, you never know if the person you're sitting next to today or who pulled all-nighters with you before finals will be the one that has a profound impact on your life going forward. So keep the relationships you've established here. Fourth and last of my recommendations, nurture your inner self. My inner self is a family guy and a triathlete. I love my family and I love competing. Those are the things that make my life complete and that make me happy. They're what I make sure I make time for. My family is at the center of everything that I do, and triathlons come in second. In fact, I'm training, as Dean Bauman said, for my third Ironman this November. So I hope you'll always do what makes you happy. Maybe it's music that gets you pumped up. Maybe you hug trees or climb rocks. Maybe you can't pass up an opportunity to volunteer. Whatever it is, keep at it, stay involved, and make it a part of your existence. It's like I always tell my daughters, you need to have a lot of things in your life, because inevitably, things go wrong. If you're focused on only one thing and that goes wrong, you're going to be devastated. Have 10 things in your life. One thing goes wrong, you still got 9 others. You'll be happy. I believe that your passion is part of what makes you you. It's what helps you tick. It's like your inner spring. It's what keeps you going and what helps you perform and is one of the keys to success in life. And it may have nothing to do with what you do for a living, but it helps you live instead of just exist. Well, I hope with these words, you are now ready to take the next giant step in your future. Before I send you out in the world, one more word of advice. Always remember to write your degree after your name so that you can really enjoy what you've accomplished here at UIC. I wish you much success in a profession that has an equally great future. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weinert. At this time, I'd like to call Dean Bauman and President Easter forward for the conferral of degrees.
President Easter, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Senate, I have the honor to present the following candidates for the degrees Doctor of Pharmacy, Doctor of Philosophy, and Master of Science. Doctor of Pharmacy, Doctor of Philosophy, and Master of Science candidates, please rise.
Thank you, Dr. Bauman. And upon these recommendations and by the authority of the Board of Trustees of the University of Illinois, I confer upon each of you your degree of Doctor of Pharmacy, Doctor of Philosophy, and Master of Science for which you have been presented, and admit to you all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of these degrees. Congratulations.
Please be seated.
Before we recognize each graduate individually, I'd like to tell you a little bit about academic dress, since it actually tells you about the academic status of the wearer. The origins of academic dress date back to the 12th and 13th centuries in Europe, when universities were taking form. The dress of the scholar, like that of the clergy, were long gowns, probably because of the then very unheated buildings, and they had hoods attached to them to cover their heads also to keep warm. The gowns today, the master's gown, the doctoral gown, and the bachelor's gown all differ in their style and in their shape. The doctoral gowns have bell sleeves, and they have nice little velvet on the sleeves to show off your degree. The master's degrees don't have the velvet, but have interesting looking sleeves that indicate that they're masters of their discipline. The hoods also tell a lot about the graduate. The bachelor's hoods, master's hoods, and doctoral hoods are all different sizes and shapes, the shortest being the bachelor's and the longest being the doctoral, again, to indicate degree. The hoods are lined with silk. The silk tells you the color of the institution from which the bearer received his or her degree. And the hoods are also lined with velvet, indicating the discipline of the degree that the bearer has. Doctor of Pharmacy students, what's the color? Olive for pharmacy. Olive's also the master's color. And the doctoral candidates have blue for the PhD, the Doctor of Philosophy. Mortar boards are the traditional headgear for a graduate. PhDs or doctoral students can also wear velvet or tams with traditionally black tassels, or gold bullion tassels may also be worn. A tradition we have to present and to honor the graduates is a symbolic placing of the hoods onto the graduates. This is to signify their successful completion of their respective scholarly programs. We call this hooding. Dr. Steve Swanson, Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Education, will present the Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Science graduates. Mr. Dan DeCesar and Mr. Ken Smith, our Directors of Student Affairs, will present the Doctor of Pharmacy graduates this afternoon. We'll begin with the graduate degree candidates. So Dr. Swanson, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Tenhove. Where is everybody? We got to get some master's students up here, don't we, at some point? So the master's degree is a course of rigorous study well beyond the baccalaureate degree that culminates in a thesis representing a high degree of understanding in a given discipline. And I can keep talking while we get things organized here, I suppose. Because our first candidate to be hooded is Brittany Baer. Dr. Carl Larson will do the hooding for the Forensic Science Master's students. And Carl is the, where are we doing the hooding? Yeah, we've been working on this all night here. See, it's the big X's on the carpet. So Brittany's thesis is entitled The Effects of Swabbing Solutions Over Time on the Amount of DNA Recovered from Touch Samples. Our next master's conferee is Caitlin Hargrave. For her third thesis entitled A New Technique for the Identification of Dyes Extracted from Fibers. Another Brittany Heaton. There's only 7, and there's 3 of them are named Brittany, which is pretty amazing. Brittany's thesis is entitled DNA Detection of Airbags, of DNA on Airbags, a Case File Review and Collection Method Inquiry. I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. Turn them around? Well, you should be telling him, not me. All right. Nicole. All right, we're just warming up, ladies and gentlemen. And Rochelle McDonald, for her investigating the importance of hiding powder within a paint for the detection of blood stains using infrared photography. And our third Brittany Reardon, for her thesis entitled DNA Interpretation Software, Enhancing Forensic Casework Productivity. Charles Steele, for his thesis entitled Improving the Stability of Stored Fingerprints on Plastic Bags by Axis Inversion Development. And my personal favorite today, Marissa Garbex, for her thesis entitled Tool Marks on Bones, Finding a Correlation Between Found Bones and the CSI Effect. And now for the medicinal chemistry graduates, I call up Dr. Pavel Petikov to confer the hood onto Annette Madriaga for her thesis entitled Evaluation of Photoreactive and Phenothiazine-Based HDAC Inhibitors. Antoinette? Is Mike Johnson here or no? Siddharth? And for Siddharth Jindal, for his thesis entitled Identification of Novel Lead Inhibitors for B. anthracis anthrasuccinate synthetase. And Courtney Snelton will be hooded by her mentor, Judy Bolton, for her thesis entitled Modulation of Estrogen Metabolism by Hops Extracts and Bioactive Compounds as Analyzed by LC-MS-MS. And Anurag Mohan will be hooded by Daniel Touchette for his capstone project entitled Evaluating Medication Discrepancies Among Different Medication Lists in the Electronic Medication Record. The hood? Yeah. He's got it in his hands. Come on, folks. Don't be shy. It's rather awkward, but it looks good once it's perfected. And Kong Peng will be hooded by his mentor, Stephanie Crawford, a little awkward there, misdiagnosis of COPD by spirometry in the United States. And Shashir Shangupu will be hooded by Edith Nitescu and Glenn Schumach for his thesis entitled Impact of Clinical Pharmacy Services on Achieving Target Anticoagulation Goals, and come on, keep it coming, folks, in patients undergoing total hip and total knee replacement surgery. And Shadan Shinde, please come up and be hooded by your mentor, Dr. Glenn Schumach, and Carol Ash for your project entitled Impact of Patient Perceptions of Outcomes on Willingness to Consider Knee Surgery. Congratulations. And now for the PhD degrees. The Doctor of Philosophy is conferred to students who have developed as scientists to the point where they understand how to ask important questions, how to develop hypotheses, and how to design robust experiments that gives us new knowledge about nature. And we'll start with the doctoral student candidates from Biopharmaceutical Sciences. Fatima Kaja, please come forward and be hooded by your mentor, Dr. Anya Ksol, for your dissertation entitled A Novel Targeted SI Nanomedicine for the Treatment of Fibrosis. And Melanie Colmer, please come forward and be hooded by Professor Gemeinhardt for your dissertation entitled Multi-Lineage Differentiation of mesenchymal stem cells for cell-based tissue engineering. Mary Ellen Malloy, come forth and be hooded by your mentor, Dr. Deborah Tinetti, for selective estrogen mimics for the treatment of tamoxifen-resistant protein kinase alpha overexpressing breast cancers. Oh my goodness. Haven't you been watching? You know, you can give them a doctorate degree, but it only goes so far. Okay, Yang Yang, please come forward and be hooded by your professor, Sung-Pyo Hong, for your dissertation entitled Interactions of Dendritic Nanomaterials with Skin Layers and Their Applications in Topical Drug Delivery. Congratulations. And now we move on to the candidates in medicinal chemistry. Hizam Al-Bakrim, please come forward and be hooded by your professor, Dr. Pavel Petikov, for your dissertation entitled Conformational Plasticity in Histone Deacetylase as a Source of New Drug Discoveries. Susie? Suzanne Quartuccio, please come forward and be hooded by your mentor, Dr. Burdett, for your thesis entitled Modulating Early Events Associated with Serous Ovarian Cancer Formation from Fallopian Tube Epithelium. May Tu, please come forward and be hooded by your mentor, Dr. Burdett, for your dissertation entitled Identification and Biological Characterization of Progestins from Botanicals in Vitro and In Vivo. Show everybody your mortarboard. That's really beautiful there. Little Darwin thing happening up there. And now we move on to pharmacognosy, where we have Rene Ramos Alvarenga, who will be hooded by his professor, Dr. Guido Paoli, for his dissertation entitled Methods for the Metabolomic Standardization of Natural Health Products. Geping Kai, please come forward to be hooded by Dr. Paoli for your dissertation entitled Closing the In Vivo, In Vitro Gap in Tuberculosis Drug Discovery. Pulkit Gupta, please come forward to be hooded by your professors, Dr. Nora Vasquez-Laslop and Dr. Alexander Menken, for your dissertation entitled Nascent Peptide and Small Molecule Mediated Translation Regulation. Hey, one more. That's all, folks.
We will now continue with the recognition of our Doctor of Pharmacy graduates, Mr. DeCesar, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon. Hooding our Doctor of Pharmacy graduates this afternoon will be Dr. Nicholas Popovich, the recipient of this year's Golden Apple Award. And Dr. Matthew Tamby, recipient of the UIC Preceptor of the Year Award. The Golden Apple Award is the graduating class selection for the Outstanding Teacher Award. A preceptor is a professional who serves as both a role model and a mentor to students during the experiential components of the curriculum. In addition, some of our graduates will be hooded by guest hooders.
Thank you, Ken. Ken and I are pleased to present the graduating class of 2014. Graduates, please come forward when your name is called. And our hooders are ready? Natanya Abed Eldafata. Sharif Abdu. Yana Adanan. Yotunde Ademoyo. Mayawa Hagbaje K. Ryan. Shelley Alendre. Akwazi Aman Khan. Zabaiya Aziz. Farah Ali Barada. Devin Lee Beatty. Devin will be hooded by her fiance, Dr. Eric Balsman, UIC 2012 PharmD graduate. Sonia Becker. Jennifer Marie Balshek Otterbach. Elizabeth Marie Berthel. Brenton Bielick. Aliyah Birdwell. Michael Andre Bogdan. Joseph Bordeaux. Juanita Elizabeth Bruce. Afreen Gusa Bukhari. Kelly Burke. Pam Cabrera. Anna Dak Kao. James Carbo. January Stephanie Carrero. Sibi Shako. Tiffany Chaddick. Angel Chen. Elizabeth Barbara Shanowska. Si Young Cho. Vona Chu. Mackenzie Clemens. Binky Cook. Robert Michael Cortez. Vincent Tai Deng. Fong Dao. Ellen Rose De Jesus. Jonathan De Rosales. Christopher K. Dempsey. Jessica Egan. Andre Rafael Esparza. Paula Farina. Sumaya Fatini. Naom Tezera Fasaya. Yulia Genkina. Michelle Goking. Alexandra Goncharenko. Kyle Patrick Gordon. Mallory Erin Greenwood. Elena Michelle Gara. Patricia Hartke. Holly Ann Heckert. John Edward Paddock Holmes. Caroline Hudoba. Lisa Soon Hutchinson. Arsani Ibrahim. Nadine Isho. Kristen Diane Gerald. Diane Santos Javier.
Kalea Mia Jefferson. Kelsey E. Johnson. Amo Zaki Judah. Nicole Joyce. Haram Kang. Jihei Janet Kim. David H. Kim. Jenny Monica Kim. He saw Kim. Jongwon Kim. Kelly Kinder. Rachel Klein. Sarah Kramer. Jeffrey Wayne Cougar. Sylvia Kulik. Kenneth John Couric. Noel Yuen Woon Kwan. Natasha Amin Lud Hani. Fania Lazarov. Annie Lee. Elizabeth Labette Ziki. Alice Lee. Hee Young Soup Lee. Juhei Lee. On-Ki Lee. Rebecca Ingu Lee. Sarah Lee. Yu Fin Lei. Viviana Lin. Mikael Lewis Long. Shara Eileen Maicinas. Kaushik Modali. Jason M. Mann. Mary Ann Paloma Marcos. Alan Martinez. Brian M. Maynard. Cassidy McDonald. Mark R. McDowell. Lori McGuire. Morgan Mihal Ick. Maris Daylin Miller. Nicole Gabrielle Miller. Esther Moon. Kristen Aline Moyes. Rola Masi Zabine. Jacqueline Suzanne Moon. Vin C. Ung. Tu Win Hong. Vin Nu Win. Adeola Olu Winners.
Benedict Omoraka. Evans Opuko. Estera Opris. Joseph Chukudi Orme. Joseph will be hooded by his wife, Dr. Shika Orme, UIC 2006 PharmD graduate. Zen O. Vishag Padera. Vishak will be hooded by his cousin, Roslyn Padera Veluratel, UIC College of Pharmacy faculty. Samuel Peck. David Park. Min Park. Ati Patel. Pooja Patel. Roshni Patel. Trent Pedigo. Nerali Pedraza. Rosemary Fa. Rosemary will be hooded by her father, Charles Fa, a UIC 1977 college graduate. Elias Christos Pitos. Congratulations. Abigail Dorothy Polly. Rehan Shafri Pothgara. Christopher James Raydonas. Rachel Ralph. Maysuma Razvi. Brittany Ream. Amanda Rising. Ivana Tabassum Rabbani. Garrett Rompelman. Lauren Rothrock. Congratulations. Ramender Saini. Ehu Samak. Javeli Siemens. Amy Michelle Secord Nadia. Tito Sari Rodum. Deepa Vijay Shah. Kunjal Shah. Pratik Rajendra Shah. Shivali Shah. Vivek Srestha. Congratulations. Matthew Simonowski. Monica Siro Chotrat. Caesar Robert Cizon. Katie Skronsky. Jennifer Marie Schneider.
Linda Soak. L'Oreal Jardine Solo Duquesne. On Ju Song. Vinay Soni. Jay Lin Song. Jennifer Marie Stephenson. Casey Strohmeyer. Renata Soter. Lakina Suwano. Kathy Tang. Maria Christina Tangonen. Congratulations. Teresa Terpstra. Alvin Thomas. Margaret Thomas. Jamie Tyda Beck. Jamie Lynn T. Men. Stephen Tron. Tan Tron. Tan the man. Right? Joey Trong. Kwang Long Win Trong. Janice Cho. Janelle Turner. Janet Valdez. Unujad Valu. Sandra Cecilia Vallatoro. Bonnie Vu. Bonnie will be hooded by her sister, Dr. Kimberly Vu, a UIC 2013 Pharm D graduate. Tuan Duck Vu. Monica Vilashek. Ashley Elizabeth Welcome. Elizabeth Daniela Weller. Stephen Wing. Jessica Wills. Jessica will be hooded by her father, Dr. Norm Katz, a UIC College of Pharmacy member. Lucia Wu. Karen Shea. Mark Yestrop. Brooke Yahunis. Graduate. Good job. Shin Chang. You done?
Graduates, please rise. Traditionally, the moving of the tassel at graduation is called turning of the tassel. It symbolizes one's transition from graduate to or from candidate to graduate. Graduates, at this time, move those tassels to the left. You may be seated. I now call upon Dr. Edward Cohen, member and past president, College of Pharmacy Alumni Board, to speak about and to administer the oath of a pharmacist to our graduating professional students. Dr. Cohen.
Thank you and good afternoon. Congratulations. The oath of a pharmacist is a commitment to remain a competent practitioner and to be a caring healthcare professional. Sounds good, huh? As a member of the Pharmacy Alumni Board, it is a privilege to witness this transition from you going from students to alumni. At this time, I'd like to challenge you to live the pledge that you will be reciting in a few minutes to advance the good in our profession and society at large. Doctor of Pharmacy graduates, please rise. You'll find the oath of a pharmacist at the, oh, you have it there in your hand. Thank you very much. And let's read it together. I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns. I will apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for my patients. I will respect and protect all personal health information entrusted to me. I will accept the lifelong obligation to improve my professional knowledge and competence. I will hold myself and my colleagues to the highest principles of our profession's moral, ethical, and legal conduct. I will embrace and advocate changes that improve patient care. I will utilize my knowledge, skills, experiences, and values to prepare the next generation of pharmacists. I take these vows voluntarily and with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. On behalf of the University of Illinois at Chicago, Pharmacy Alumni Board, and the Alumni Association at large, we will be collecting your email addresses for those letters. Congratulations and best wishes. Please be seated.
I know you want to get out of here, but I have a few words before we end. I would like to convey my congratulations once again. I know that some of you graduated with high honors, some with honors, some are just happy to be in this room. And as you graduate, you are now and you shall ever be one of us. Like me, you carry the label of a graduate of the University of Illinois College of Pharmacy. For the parents, you all know somebody in your neighborhood that graduated from Harvard or Yale or Stanford. Well, we're them in the world of pharmacy. Your sons and daughters have made it into and now out of one of the very best colleges of pharmacy in this nation. From this college, we produce graduates like those before you who become leaders in pharmacy business and academics and in the pharmaceutical industry and lead professional organizations. We create and innovate new forms of clinical pharmacy practice, which blaze paths and open doors for all pharmacists. We make discoveries here to help cure disease and diminish pain and suffering. Simply put, we have made drug use better in this nation through our research. The discoveries by our faculty, those individuals behind me, that they have made are taught at other colleges of pharmacy. One of our graduates invented mayonnaise, for Pete's sake. Could you imagine a world without mayonnaise or BLTs? So as dean, I usually give some brief remarks and last words of advice, as I mentioned, hopefully complimenting Mr. Weiner, our graduation speaker. So here goes nothing. It's going to be brief. I'll give you 10 pieces a la David Letterman. Number 10, volunteer in your community and be active in the profession of pharmacy. As you grow older, it becomes less and less about you and more about others. Number 9, read and keep learning. Changes in drug therapy happen continuously and extremely quickly. Always keep up with the literature. Number 8, never sacrifice your ideals. If you find yourself in a position or a job which makes you feel uncomfortable, quit. Number 7, before you quit, in this economy, have something lined up before. Number 6, teach. Instructing others makes you better. Number 5, push the boundaries of practice. Don't be satisfied with how practice is today. Be ready to expand your scope of practice as the profession evolves, and it will. Number 4, set an example not only in your professional life, but also in your personal life. We're the gatekeepers of drugs in this country. And simply put, we are held to higher standards than others. Number 3, make it your goal to move up at your place of employment. Take it from me, it's fun being boss. Number 2, call your parents. Hopefully not to tell them you're going to move back in. And number 1, have a lot of fun and surround yourselves with bright, interesting people who you enjoy. So to all, congratulations again. And I do want to specifically thank and congratulate the first ever graduates from the Rockford campus. As Dr. Tenhove mentioned, your graduation marks an important event actually in our more than 150-year history. And so thank you so much for your perseverance and for your exceptional performance. So Wednesday night at dinner, you were all very kind in thanking us, your teachers, but I think tonight it's our turn to thank you. Thank you for gracing our halls for the past 4 years, whether it be in Chicago or in Rockford. And in ending, I'll leave you with one quote that I particularly like from Robert Kennedy. He said, "Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all, those acts will be written in the history of your generation." So have a wonderful and fun evening, and Godspeed.
Thank you all for sharing this great event in the lives of our graduates. And I too would like to extend my congratulations and best wishes to all of you. In closing, I would like to ask that the audience and graduates please remain seated until the platform party and faculty have recessed. This commencement ceremony is now adjourned.
this our book or theirs? Is this ours or theirs? What tape?